us together as one nation. Of course, this program is brought to you by the largest TV network in Africa, the Nigerian Television Authority, working tirelessly to ensure that this program and of course other programs come your way as at when due.
Thank you very much. Uncle Mabo. Thank you. 30 seconds more. Thank you very much. Ichengara. Ichengara. So please, thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, next on the lineup is Ichengara. Ichengara, please. Ichengara from Abakaliki local government. Thank you. Your time starts now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Hausa community. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Mr. President, very distinguished. It is on that note that I want to invite our troop. Please, you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes rather, and your time starts now. Let's go.
His Excellency General Muhammadu Buhari, we know him nama Jabama Bewarugo. And the father of Ebonyi State, Engineer Chief David Nweze Umahia, you are also highly welcome. We are a Hausa dancers from Kaduna State. We are also greeting the fathers and mothers of the day and also our brothers and sisters of the day. You are all highly welcome. General Muhammad Buhari, mi do hamna ma jabama be warugo.
for Hausa Troop. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege at this point to invite His Excellency, the #1 citizen of the salt of the nation, a man of wisdom, a man who is working very hard to position Ebonyi State properly. May I very humbly invite His Excellency, Engineer Dr. David Wezomaye, Executive Governor of Ebonyi State.
This is the promise of love. It shall be season refreshing. Shower some blessing. Shower some blessing with me. Blessing of glory. Showers we bring.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, our father, the father of the nation, President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Your Excellencies, my dear brothers and sisters, on your behalf, I want to thank our President for this show of love and for consistent demonstration of his love for the state of Ebonyi. I call it an unmerited favor of God. The love that God has put in the heart of our president for us was never lobbied for. We didn't work for it. It just happened. That's why I told the president that this visit is a miracle. When I was a deputy governor, my boss used to say something to me and I didn't understand. He used to tell me that I wish everybody can sit on this seat, even if it is one day, to understand how difficult it is. Now, when I became a governor by God's special grace, I could understand the meaning of that. But in a different direction, when I was with our president in New York, all through our stay, 2 other governors and myself, the president was cracking jokes, laughing, very humorous. And when I had a private time with him, I said, "Sir, do you know that Nigerians do not know that they are this humorous?" And so I now said, I wish everybody can have one-on-one interaction with our president to understand his great milk of kindness, humility, and very humorous, attitude. Today, when my wife saw our president so relaxed, I'm very happy. So my wife said to me, I think you're fulfilled. You are very happy this night. I know the next thing will be to ask me for money. So I asked her, are you not happy yourself? And I quickly reported her to the president. So our president is so relaxed. My secretary to government told me, the president is so relaxed. But the man that was moderating, the president said he's so ruthless with time. He wouldn't allow us to enjoy the dancing troops. But anyhow, our president is very happy, so relaxed. And we must count ourselves very lucky. This is the first state, even when President was in Katsina, he didn't sleep in the capital city, he went back to his village to sleep. So this is the first state that the president is sleeping. It wouldn't have been by the works of man, but we return all gratitude and glory to our God. It's God that has made it. And our president, I want to say that this bond of relationship, this bond of love, is the making of God. And whatsoever is born of God must endure. So nobody, no power, no hands, no conspiracy can withdraw this love you have for us. It has come to stay. You know, when I was praying for the visit of the president, I prayed for his safety. And I say, Father, magnify the land of Ebonyi before the eyes of all men. And some people ask me, what are you expecting? I say, I have a catalog of things I will ask the president to do for us. So when, after reading the minds of Ebonyi State in our address, so some journalists approach me and say, but the president didn't make any promise. I say, go and check all the presidential speeches. The president is father of 300 ethnic groups. The president does not make promises in the open. So, I want to assure Ebonyans, you know, when you pray to God, sometimes it's immediate answer. Sometimes it's no, and sometimes it's hold on. So this one is just holding on, and I'll be asking our president, who is the contact person I will be liaising with, because our request, God has already endorsed it, and I know the president is going to do them for us, because God who puts the love of Ebonyi State is hard for us. It's the same God that is on the throne. Your Excellency, we want to assure you that this state of Ebonyi and the entire Southeast is for one Nigeria. When it mattered so much for us to demonstrate that the leadership or the governors of Southeast and the president of Buhari and the entire leadership of Southeast, they stood with us, and we boldly came out to give you support for one Nigeria. Our support is very bold, very genuine, and I want to assure you, sir, that we continue, not only Ebonyi State, but the entire Southeast. Whichever way our relationship was truncated by the enemies of our unity, I want to assure you, sir, that we do everything to rebuild it. And I know very well that you have love for our state. When I was in Villa, a woman struggled to see me. And when she saw me, she said, I'm from Africa. I'm the one that is cooking the food of Mr. President and the wife. I'd say, I just want to thank you for the relationship. What can be more than that? What can be more assuring than that? Mr. President told me a story of how one man, during the time, he was contesting election, and he would go to tribunal, how an Igbo man wrote a minority judgment in his favor. Even when his kinsmen wrote against him, an Igbo man wrote a minority judgment in his favor. So I think, sir, that his enemies of our unity that are doing all kind of divisive tendencies to divide us, but we refuse to be divided. We are together, sir. And I want to thank you, sir. You have looked beyond party politics. The interest of one man, the interest of one state must be subsumed into the interest of the entire Southeast giving you support. And that's what we're working to ensure that we give you support, sir. Your administration be smooth, and that God will continue to guide you and be with you to deliver all that God has called you to do. I want to thank Ohanese President. I recall the time that we proscribed IPOB, and people came and advertised the phone numbers of the 5 Southeast governors and that of Ohanese President. Every 1 second, they were calling us and abusing us. But we did the right thing. We did it to ensure that we have peace and that everyone, irrespective of where you come from and irrespective of where you stay, that you are secured. And this, we have no apologies. So, as a president, I want to thank you and thank all the leaders of Southeast who stood with us. Your Excellency, Ebonyi people, they love you so much. Southeast people, they love you so much. Let us think about those things that bind us together in love. And discard those things.
The strides of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of
he began a 2-day official visit to Ebonyi State. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports that the president, who also laid the foundation for several projects expected to change the face of Abakaliki, the state capital, was conferred with a befitting chieftaincy titles in the area. Shortly after inaugurating the newly constructed Abakaliki-Afikpo Federal Road, the 700-meter length of the dual Trans-Sahara flyover running from Enugu to Cameroon and several other projects, President Muhammadu Buhari says the federal government will continue to partner with the government and the people of southeastern part of the country to improve the lives of Nigerians.
The people of the Southeast are known for their ingenuity, industrial and commercial talent. There is no part of Nigeria where you will not find Igbo entrepreneurs, both men and women, contributing to the development of their adopted communities. So I am asking you all not to buy into the senseless propaganda on recession. Igbo is Nigeria, and Nigeria is Igbo.
That's President Muhammadu Buhari there speaking in Ebonyi State. We now take you back to Abakaliki live, where we understand President Muhammadu Buhari is about now commencing his speech at the banquet.
Ask the ambassador, who's my chief of protocol. I tried to ask him, did they say that I have to speak? He drew the program, and he showed me where I have to respond. It's very difficult working with very efficient people because you find it difficult to blame them. If you try to, they will prove you wrong. I think I will try and have a less efficient set sometimes. Your Excellency, you have said so much about my love for your state. And I don't know how I picked you among the 2 other governors to go to New York with me for that for my first visit to the United Nations and so on. Maybe I just wrote on a piece of paper, Ebonyi and other states, and I picked your own. Just like my ministers and several of them, and people holding very high positions in this government, they will tell you that I didn't know them from Adam. I just come across their names from their records, and I believe I will work on the records. No regret whatsoever. I thank God that I have a very good team. I have been promising to reshuffle the cabinet for how long, and people are asking me. So I put all my 3 sets in the drawer and lock them. So no matter how you try, you can't get me on the telephone. You just have to go through somebody you think is in the corridors of power to speak to me if you want to hear me. Because with the telephone, I'd like to alienate myself to too many people. If I keep the telephones in my hands, somebody would dare say, or send a text, that but you spoke to somebody, why wouldn't you speak to me? But if they are locked in my drawer, you wouldn't know where they are, and then you can't complain to the drawer because it is so insensitive. What I see that has been done here and our discussions, which we are only able to change opinion when we are driving in the car, minding that the driver and the orderlies are not members of our executive councils, is that the absolute commitment, you know, of the governor to his position is remarkable. I'm very, very impressed. And I happen to be not a very observant person. A general, his brother, I signed one of his papers. And until the governor told me it's his brother, I looked at them and I saw the faces were really identical. Before I realized it, I never knew, because I tried to do my job as I found myself. Because in the military, from one pip, to general, I did all the command and the staff works along. And then I started again the civilian one, governor, minister, head of state, and president. And even those who have been locked in the prison, they cannot complain because I too have been locked for 3.25 years. So what? I think I have gone a full circle. I thank God, and I thank you for appreciating what small contribution I have been able to make to my country. And what I assure you and what I shared with all of you here is that we are lucky to have a great country. We have incredible resources. We have highly talented people. And we should continue to pray to God that the elite that will be in charge at any one time fear God. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, a better round of applause for His Excellency, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Ghana.
That was President Muhammadu Buhari addressing the state banquet in his honor in Ebonyi State. Back in Abuja, still on President Muhammadu Buhari's 2 days visit to the southeastern parts of Ebonyi and Anambra states. The visit is described as a part of the measures promised by the administration for a continuous successful cooperation between the federal government, the regions, 5 governors, and the cultural leadership of the people. Yohaneze Indigo.
It is a visit that is expected to give the nation a break from the negativity that characterized the perception of the Buhari administration in the region following his victory in the 2015 election. Despite the conscious efforts of the president to reassure the southeast by giving 4 of the region's 5 states 4 senior cabinet posts, the negativity prevails in some quarters. But beyond these misplaced conceptions and fears and calls for cessation by IPOB, President Buhari's visit would go further in soothing frayed nerves and provide an opportunity to listen more to the cries of the people. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, indicates that contrary to the notion that the government is doing nothing about federal roads, the region has a good number of roads paid for by the federal government that are either completed or undergoing construction. As at May this year, 600 kilometers of roads are being rehabilitated across the southeast zone. The federal government supporting Ebonyi State's rice-growing schemes leaned on a permanent solution to the fertilizer supply crisis in the country bears true testimony to a successful partnership between the center and the sub-region. It is hoped that President Buhari's visit would highlight the silent achievements of his administration in the region and rid the notion that they are getting the short end of the stick.
Still on President Muhammadu Buhari's visit, I am now being joined by Dr. Chidi Madokwe, the Director General, Nigerian Film Corporation, to speak on the significance of President Buhari's visit to the southeast. Dr. Madokwe, welcome to the NTA Network News Studios.
Thank you.
President Buhari is now in the southeast.
Yeah.
And he is there amidst talks and claims of neglect of the region and what have you. Neglect of appointments, or rather under-appointment, or even lack of infrastructure. How can you situate this visit? How significant is it?
To do justice to the love of Mr. President, to the people of the Southeast, it will not be fair to understand it just by his current visit to the zone. We must look at his antecedent so that we will be in a better position to appraise his current presence in the Southeast. This is a man, in all his political outing, had always looked at the Southeast as the beacon of hope, as the lightning rod for his success in his political outing. On 2 occasions, during the civilian dispensation, he had always gone to the Southeast to look for the vice presidential candidate in all the outings that he came out for. Even as a military dictator, you recall that he made sure that the only cabinet post in the constitution, which is Attorney General, was given to the Southeast. So when we start talking about his love for Southeast, it is not a sudden flash in the pan.
Then why the claims for neglect then? Why are some people saying he has neglected the Southeast?
They are claiming that they have he neglected the Southeast because they don't know when to say the election they lost is over. They continue to make that claim because they think that is the only way they can draw attention to themselves. As you saw the list of heavy infrastructural development being listed, it is only a president with that kind of robust and confident mind that can do it. He did not campaign with Second Niger Bridge, yet he's funding it with billions of naira. He did not campaign for infrastructural development in the Southeast, which had gone into a state of decay and rot, based on what you can categorically refer to as harvest of corruption. Yet what he did was to go into that area to ensure that all the infrastructural road network in the Southeast are being put in place. When the issue of it was aligned to pass through to